You did country covers. That's how you were discovered.
Kind of, yeah.
Captured on VHS and sent around. What was it about that country genre that kind of brought you in?
Well, it was more like, where can I sing? Where can I perform? You know, I was picking up the guitar at 14 and started like writing. And then when I was 7, my mom could tell that I could sing, and I liked that. And she got me like up on stage in church. And then it was like, okay, now what's next? Okay, so there's like little banquets and fairs and stuff like that around town. So it's like, okay, singing like country songs to fit in there.
In Canada.
In Canada, in my tiny little town of 5,000 people.
Literally. That's the population.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody knows that you're a singer in town.
Yeah, I was known in high school. I was like, oh, the singer girl.
But at the same time, you're a skater.
Yeah. Well, so like in grade 9, grade 9, grade 10 in high school, yeah, I started skateboarding then and getting in trouble, but it wasn't that bad. Just getting expelled for like drinking beer and like hockey tournaments, getting expelled from that.
Happens. Are you writing during this rebellious phase of life?
So that's kind of when I started picking up the guitar. So I started singing in church and then these country fairs. And then I got to a point when I was, I guess, 15, going into grade 9, beginning high school. I kind of was like, okay, like this isn't cool. Like I was kind of like, wait, I don't know. I kind of took like a step back for a minute and was like, I don't really want to do that right now. Like,
what was
so
that?
I started.
Was it like
I stopped for a second and I kind of was like, what do I do? Because like I was like, again, discovering myself and started listening to like Green Day and like skateboarding and like smoking cigarettes and drinking beer and, you know, wearing really baggy pants. And that's when, and meeting other kids in high school and hanging out with guys that play guitar and skateboarded. And like, so that's when I started writing in my room when I'd come home from school. And I paused on church and country and all that stuff, still going to church, but just not singing those songs, and started kind of coming up with the stuff that was like developing me into being the artist that I became on my first album.
Which was true to you.
That was the transition from that into me being, I guess, pop rock.
But like just normal teenage life, right?
Yeah.
But with a different level of intuition. Because the records were based on reality.
Yeah.
The records on Let Go.
Well, Skater Boy came because I sat down with Lauren Christie of The Matrix, and when we were writing on my first album, I was just like, okay, so I like guys that have skate shoes on. So if I'm walking down the street and like see a guy with skater shoes on, and like we literally were just having this like conversation, and it was just so natural, and I had like, those are the guys that like I had crushes on, so we just wrote a song called Skater Boy.
Do you have a shoe brand preference? I know that was like a big deal in the skater world, right? Like,
well,
you got your DCs and your Etnies.
Yeah, totally. Do people still wear those?
I don't think so.
I'm into like Vans now.
See, those are cool. Do you remember the DCs? They were so fat.
They're
and the
so
tongue?
big, and I still have them. Like at my other house, I still have them. But like, I do have a new pair, and I put it on like probably 6 months ago, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know if I can like rock these right now. Not with the skinny jeans.
I don't want to be that guy, but I might say that the DC was the Balenciaga of the 2000s, like the early 2000s. Oh, yeah. You know, those chunky fat shoes.
Yeah, definitely.
Who came up with the spelling for Skater Boy? Because I feel like that 8 in skate like changed the way the world typed.
And the BOI.
Come on.
Yeah, I did.
Like that 8 just fits there perfectly. And then later comes after that in my world. Everything deserved an 8 when there was an ER. There's something about, complicated. Just back to that for a second. You know that's number 47 on NPR's list of the greatest songs of the 21st century written by a female.
That's dope.
That like the 21st century. Just wild to rap.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I see the effects. He was a skater boy. He was a skater boy.
She said, see you later, boy.
Is that like weird? Okay. Writing for you, you've described it magical here. I've heard you describe it as spiritual. Has it always been like that? Has that been like a constant throughout the creation process for you?
Like recently, like on this new album, Head Above Water, this was like a whole new experience for me in a way. So like the first album compared to this one and the ones in between, like this, like I've obviously like, I went through a lot. I had to take like a few years off. I got sick. Didn't know if I'd still be like working or have a career or like what was going to happen. And then I just started writing like while I was in bed, and like all these song concepts like came to me. And like it was the first time I ever took a break, and it was cool because like I wasn't trying to write a record. It just like all these song ideas were just coming to me. And now I'm on this like gnarly writing kick ever since then, and I'm just constantly like coming up with concepts and ideas. And before it was just sort of like after the first album, I was a bit of a like machine. It was like go, 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 and you go into the studio and you write a song that day and you record it that day and then you leave.
Because you have to. That's the margins, right? Like that's the business.
And this album is like really special. Like if you take the time and like listen to all the songs, you can tell like how much like heart I put into it and how like authentic it is, like the vocal performance and stuff. And just the lyrics. And I feel like I almost appreciate songwriting sort of more than ever now at this point in my life. It's like it does a lot for me. It's like it's healing in so many ways, and it's how I can, really figure things out and move on sometimes and close one chapter and go to the next.
Which it's beyond special, but also when I listen to Head Above Water, it's a redemption record to me, and it makes me feel like I can get through anything. So that struggle, and that story, so it heals you, but also it helps heal others at the same exact time. So it's a beautiful album.
Thank you.
Does it? What record starts it for you? Like, do you remember the first record you wrote for it?
The first song on this record?
Yeah, Head Above Water. Like,
so the very first song that I wrote for Head Above Water, the album, was Warrior and Head Above Water. I can't remember which one came first. And they're both obviously Warrior is about my battle. And I just like one day I was like God, like I'm a warrior. Like, and then I was like, oh my God, it's a song. And that's what like every song on this album kind of came from, like me saying something to myself. Like, and it just was like, just so authentic. Like, and moments of like over the last few years of like intense I've been through.
Were you encouraging yourself in these moments? Like,
yeah, I think that, all of the songs on this album are empowering and inspiring and hopeful. Mm-hmm. And I like that. And I'll be able to look back at this album and be like, I went through that. I got through that. My music helped me. It really lifted me up. And like, I always knew too, I was like, when I wrote like Head Above Water, I thought to myself, like, other people will be able to hear this, if they're like going through a hard time or if they're depressed or whatever, even if they want to end their life, like however dark it may be. I think that this song will hit home with like a lot of people because I've gotten a lot of feedback throughout the years with different songs in fan mail that, my songs had helped them. Like, they're in their bedroom and they're listening to my certain songs over and over and over, and it's like hitting home with them. And so I remember that and I take that with me. And so when I make an album and I'm writing a song for me, I'm also thinking like, oh, this is so real for me. I know it's going to be so real for somebody else. And I hope that it moves these people.
You need these words, and then others need the same exact words. But the battle may be different, but the words, they represent the same almost, right? Like.